reminder to you. But they would sell properties and they would divide it up, what was made from that sale, to help each other. And so you ask that question and you say, why? Why would they do that? Why not? Some of you might even ask the question, which can seem valid. You'll ask the question, why are you helping them? Struggling with the same issue. Number one, I would help my daughter, right? Because she's my family. She's my daughter. Same way, even more specific, if it was my wife was sick and another person was sick with the same thing, I will, sorry babe. I will help my wife first, right? Because it's family. But why is it when we apply that to believers? And I'm not talking about Wilshire. I'm talking about the capital C, church, right? As believers, those of us who follow Christ. Why is it any different? Christ or a sister in Christ struggling, and we would look at the unbeliever and say, well, let's do this, and come up with a numerous different excuses and reasons why we should prioritize them. And now in no way am I saying they're not important. We should not love them. We should not treat them kindly. We should not give mercy or help them. I'm not saying don't help them at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying to realize the importance of our family as we encourage each other, right? And this is what's amazing about how we treat each other as Christians, as brothers and sisters in Christ. What's amazing about this is that when unbelievers, those on the outside, when they look in and they see us, how we treat each other, that it could attract them to Jesus Christ, right? They see, wow, they follow Christ. See that what that guy did to help this other guy or this girl. I think they call it their brothers and sisters in Christ. And man, look at what they did. Wow, it was sacrificial love. Look how much she sacrificed to help her. It's attractive to unbelievers to see this, and it makes them wonder, why would they sacrifice so much to help someone? And let's be honest, our church now, Big C, I'm not saying Wilshire, but as a body of believers, are we sacrificial? Are we encouraging to our family? And so I entitled this with an emphasis on the word my, but just simply encouraging my family. You're my family, I'm your family. We're brothers and sisters in Christ. How can we push each other, spur each other on? How can we encourage each other? And so John chapter 13, we're going to go in the book of Acts, but I wanted to share John 13. I don't think I shared this with you guys, Alex, back there, but John 13, I'll read this really quick. Verse 34 and 35, it says, "Let me give you a new command." And this is Jesus talking. "Love one another. In the same way I loved you, you love one another." And now the context is he's talking with believers here, okay? So personal to yourself. And imagine Jesus saying this to you. He says, "Let me give you a new command, love one another. In the same way you love one another. Love one another. This is how everyone will recognize that you are my disciples, when they see the love you have for each other." So it's almost like it's more priority given to your family, right? Which should be. And in that way, we are able to draw people into the presence of the Lord with the way we love each other, with the way we treat each other as brothers and sisters. If you've ever visited when you were younger, you went into maybe one of your best friend's house, and your best friend had siblings. You go over and hang out at their house, and you see the siblings quarreling all the time, yelling at each other. you probably are glad that you weren't part of that family, right? You're like, man, these guys they're bickering so much. But then you have another friend. You visited their home and you saw how much they encouraged each other and how much they loved each other, how they treated each other with respect. And you probably have thought, wow, I would love to hang out with this family even more. I want to be with this family. And the same way goes, and they are watching us, whether you think so or not, whether you believe so or not, they watch how we act and how we treat each other. You know, they watch us closely. And unfortunately, we haven't been the greatest examples of Jesus Christ. We see a lot of, they call themselves Jesus followers, but they tear each other down. Or they may talk bad behind their backs. And so, why would they want to become part of our family? And so let's see what Paul says on how he encouraged the church, the believers, what he did in every city that he would go through. So Acts chapter 20, verses 1 to 6. It says, when the uproar was over, Paul sent for the believers and encouraged them. Then he said goodbye and left for Macedonia. While there, he encouraged the believers in all the towns he passed through. Verse 2, while there he encouraged the believers in all the towns that he passed through. Notice the emphasis there on believers. He didn't try to encourage everybody. I'm not saying that that's bad, but there was purpose. There was direction. He went straight to his brothers and his sisters in Christ, and he encouraged them. These were fellow believers, for followers of Christ who were going through a lot of persecution. And if you haven't noticed, as a follower of Christ, we're getting even closer and closer to more persecution in our lives. Here in the Western church, we have a lot of our brothers and sisters in Christ in the Middle East that we don't know personally, but they're our brothers and our sisters in Christ, and they've been going through persecution